last show, 2024, boys. Nick Kiprios, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Andrew Adams, Double A, Jen Rolnick, JR.
Yeah.
Just waiting to double check this all with Sam. Sam, is this all correct?
I don't know.
Wherever you are watching, listening, Sportsnet 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet Plus. Just the three of us. Security guard came by just before we came in, threw me the keys and said, lock up when you're done. I think we're the only ones in the building.
I think you're right.
There was a broom being pushed by a couple. I haven't seen a whole lot. You know, there's a few dust bunnies flying through here.
I gotta say, if you're listening today, thank you very much. You are in the Spotify Wrapped. You are in the 0.1% of our listeners.
Where's everybody else?
Doing stuff? It's the holidays. No one's working.
I bet you if you're in your car right now and you're driving around and you heard the Kipper and Bourne theme song, you're like, they're working today?
So we'll be off tomorrow.
Yes.
A busy day in the National Hockey League tomorrow night.
Leafs at 1.
We've got 1 o'clock. Sportsnet Ontario. We'll be back on the desk.
Kipper and I are on it.
David Amber, Elliot Friedman. So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But there's plenty to talk about. I mean, it's not
There
like
is.
we're coming in here and twiddling our thumbs for the next 2 hours.
No, there's legitimate content to be, made here. But
Yeah. So feel free to go, boys. I'll just sit back and relax and
What do you want to talk about?
How was everyone's holiday?
enjoy my eggnog under the desk.
How was everyone's holiday?
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
A lot of nice time spent with family. Then I came back to Toronto. It just went really fast.
Yeah. You get a fresh Leaf jersey?
No, nothing.
No.
I don't really get gifts anymore, which I'm totally fine with.
Yeah,
I got
middle-aged man. That happens.
here and there. Got a gift. My brother-in-law got me an awesome President's Cup Peter Millar golf shirt. So that's really nice. Got a sweet Tragically Hip table book.
Nice.
And for my mother-in-law, and that's pretty much it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
You, Kipper?
I got boots.
You
I
got
saw the
boots.
Yeah, I
They're
saw the
nice.
boots.
They're nice boots. I'm at an age now where I'm like, those are great boots. I want those boots.
Oh,
That's a
and
good boot.
I'm at the age, I got a blender from my sister-in-law, and I was thrilled.
Yeah.
Like, if I had got a blender in my mid-20s, would have thrown it in the trash. Now I'm like, oh my God, yes.
This is going to change my life.
A cocktail blender.
No, I don't eat breakfast, so I have a lot of shakes in the morning.
Little
So,
smoothie action.
Yeah, big smoothie guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So where do we start with the Toronto Maple Leafs? Because, like I said, there's some news and notes going around that hockey club, including Austin Matthews back on the ice. But overall, the Toronto Maple Leafs played their league-leading 9th back-to-back game.
What was that board you did on the show the other day? How many did they have this year? 17? 16? The most in the NHL.
Yeah, I think Carolina as well at 16.
Meanwhile,
And,
some teams at 8, 9, 10.
Winnipeg. But you can't say that because they're out west and they travel like 10 times more than most other teams. So I guess we're not allowed to mention that.
Okay, but
with a
other
straight
teams were
face.
still at 10, 11, 12, and not
Yeah.
16 back-to-backs.
Would you like me to read some of the Toronto Maple Leafs? I was texted this today.
Yes,
so
please.
I would read something to you. 9 back-to-back so far, mostly in the NHL, like you mentioned. They've played more than the Winnipeg has all year and will play all year. Faced a rested home team 4 times and rested an arrested team 7 of 9 back-to-backs. 500 record, 4-4-1 in the second half of back-to-backs. 661 percentage in non-back-to-backs, 18-9-1. Back-to-back the last 5 weekends.
Yeah, and again this weekend. And just to
Including this
add
one.
to Sam's point, SportLogic did some data up for me. The Leafs, from now on, because of what he's talking about, have the 6th easiest remaining schedule. So they hopefully will have some opportunities to make up some of the abuse they took in the first half of the year.
And what is it? Amazon and Four Nations face-off related? Why they've played this insane schedule? Like, why have they played such an insane schedule? Is it Four Nations?
Well, it's Four Nations and Amazon. I told you guys.
They want those Monday nights. So
They
all
want,
of a sudden that changes.
not only do they want the Leafs the most, which they got on Monday
they paid
nights,
for it.
but they made it clear they don't want to compete against the Leafs playing that night.
Right.
So Mondays are basically off limits to alleviate any type of scheduling.
So they
issues.
either get them or it's a day of the week the Leafs can't play.
Can
which
you
changes
imagine
some of
that?
the options.
Like, so Monday night, which is tonight?
Yeah.
I'm lost.
It is tonight.
Is it
What day
tonight?
is today? It is tonight.
So it's
It is
Winnipeg
tonight.
and Nashville.
Yeah.
And listen, Winnipeg's
First place team.
first place team. big names, star names, like they deserve the platform.
Yeah.
But Amazon's sitting there going, hey, first place or last place doesn't matter. We don't want the Leafs playing against Winnipeg. So cram it somewhere else, which they did.
So that it does jam up the schedule a bit. Is what it is. You play the cards you're dealt.
You mentioned it. The fifth easiest, meaning that they'll play next weekend as well. They'll be Boston's in town next Saturday or this Saturday. And then Sunday, they fly off immediately to play Philadelphia. After that, do we know the next back-to-back? It's going to
just one in January.
It's going to alleviate a little bit here.
Alleviates a bit, and like this week, for example, you get the Islanders twice and Flyers once. Like even the Bruins aren't.
Yeah, so there are no more back-to-backs in January.
Okay.
So that's good.
But it is literally every day or every other day. Like they have a crazy just like every other day, which if you're doing a radio show, hypothetically, that might be great.
So
news.
Washington, for an example, while the Leafs were in Detroit battling it out, and we also did that hockey game, they got to practice in Washington that afternoon, jump on a plane, be in Toronto before dinner, have a nice dinner, sit back, watch the Leafs go against Detroit, watch them all limp to the bench.
Like every player in that game got hurt. Yeah. Like their whole decor.
Half a dozen. Easy. And then Lawrence went down, and I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Like, that didn't look good. He played Saturday night, of course.
Got his helmet stuck in the glass in warm-up on Saturday night.
How does that happen?
I've never seen that before.
They literally, Domi cut it with scissors to get it out of there.
That's crazy.
So they're watching all of that, and they're like,
all right, let's go.
We're going to pick apart Saturday night.
Yeah.
But it has to be a big part of just.
Didn't help.
Thank you.
Didn't help.
Those are the words I'm looking for.
And you know what, Kip? I thought they played pretty well given all of what you're talking about. I thought, in fact, and maybe this is the first place we go, if Anthony Stolarz is in net and not Matt Murray, that might be like any other game where they hang around, the score's a lot closer, maybe they come out on top. I thought they were hurt by bad goaltending.
That's the first game I can sit there and say that, to your point, if they get Stolarz from 3 weeks ago, a month ago, they find a way to win that hockey game. Like
the Mangiapane shot is dead in the middle of a pad, and he kind of slides out of the way of it. And then the Chychrun one is, it's a good shot, but Stolarz is 6'6", and he's there. And Murray was there too, and he just whiffed on Chychrun's goal. So if you're this much quicker and this much bigger, I mean, you're catching a piece.
The Leafs center dilemma: who can strengthen the roster? If you're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan like me, you know the team's center depth has been a constant concern this season. With Auston Matthews set to return from a mysterious upper body injury next week, the excitement of having our star back is palpable. However, there are still serious issues to address in the center position to keep the team competitive and, of course, fuel our playoff dreams. David Kampf, a key piece in the center rotation, is sidelined with a lower body injury. As if that weren't enough, Kaye Jarnkrok is still recovering from surgery, leaving another gap in the lineup. Max Domi, expected to be a versatile asset, has been placed on injured reserve, further aggravating the situation after missing consecutive practices due to lingering pains. To sum it up, the Leafs are missing 4 functional centers, and the pressure to act is mounting. James Myrtle, a respected Leafs analyst and contributor to The Athletic, highlighted a series of potential trade targets to address this dilemma during his appearance on the J.D. Bunky's podcast. Among the names mentioned, 2 stood out: Nick Jugstad and, for the nostalgic fans, a possible reunion with Ryan O'Reilly. Jugstad seems to be Myrtle's favorite, and for good reason. The player, who signed a 2-year deal with the Utah Hockey Club last offseason, carries a manageable $2.1 million cap hit, which is essential for a team as salary cap-strapped as the Leafs. Additionally, standing at 6 feet 6 inches and weighing 205 pounds, he would bring not only physicality but also consistent offensive contributions. Jugstad is the most viable option for the Leafs right now, Myrtle stated on the podcast. And he's right. Experienced and versatile, Jugstad has played for several teams, including the Florida Panthers, Pittsburgh Penguins, Minnesota Wild, and Edmonton Oilers, and could quickly adapt to the Leafs dynamic. With an affordable contract and a solid track record, he offers a practical solution without sacrificing too many future assets. However, it's impossible to ignore the possibility of a Ryan O'Reilly return. Yes, we know he chose the Nashville Predators last summer in search of a quieter environment, but the Leafs management still holds him in high regard. The 2019 Stanley Cup winning captain with the St. Louis Blues is precisely the type of player any contender would love to have on their roster. However, the cost of bringing him back would be steep, both in terms of trade assets and cap space adjustments, as Nashville or a third team would need to retain part of his salary. I don't think the O'Reilly scenario is entirely out of reach, Myrtle said, showing that there's optimism within the organization. However, there are doubts about how much it's worth investing in a 33-year-old player, even with his impeccable credentials. Meanwhile, cheaper internal options like Steven Lorentz, Connor Dewar, Pontus Holmberg, and Fraser Minten have been mentioned. But let's be honest, these names might serve as short-term stopgaps, but they're far from offering the stability and impact the team needs. The pressure is all on GM Brad Treliving. He knows that despite the Leafs' solid performance so far, the center position is crucial to sustaining any championship aspirations. With the trade deadline approaching, Treliving has likely intensified his efforts to finalize a deal. And we, the fans, are eagerly awaiting good news. For now, all we can do is trust that the team can weather this tough phase and hope a solution, whether it's Bjugstad, O'Reilly, or another name, arrives before things spiral out of control. After all, as we all know, the Leafs don't have the luxury of wasting another season with a promising but incomplete roster. The time to act is now. The Leafs center dilemma, expanding on the potential solutions. The Toronto Maple Leafs, amidst another promising yet tumultuous season, face one of their most pressing challenges, addressing a depleted center lineup that threatens to derail their momentum. While the return of Austin Matthews is a beacon of hope, the broader picture remains dire, requiring urgent action from the front office. With Kampf, Jarnkrok, and Domi sidelined, the team's depth has been stretched thin. The immediate impact is clear on both ends of the ice. Defensively, the Leafs are struggling to suppress opposing top lines without reliable two-way centers. Offensively, puck distribution and power play setups have been less dynamic, as the makeshift lineups lack the same chemistry. This imbalance underscores the necessity for reinforcements. Nick Bjugstad, as highlighted by James Myrtle, presents the most realistic trade option. His affordable contract and towering physical presence align perfectly with the Leafs' needs. Beyond his imposing stature, Bjugstad brings versatility. He can play both center and wing, a flexibility that would allow head coach Sheldon Keefe to adjust the lineup dynamically. However, acquiring Bjugstad isn't without complications. The Utah Hockey Club, formerly the Arizona Coyotes, is currently rebuilding but may still demand a premium return for their experienced forward. The Leafs will likely need to part with a mid-tier prospect or draft pick to make the deal work. With their prospect pool already thin, Treliving faces a tough decision. Another name that excites fans and analysts alike is Ryan O'Reilly. The former Conn Smythe winner and Stanley Cup champion has a proven track record of elevating teams in high-stakes situations. His leadership during his brief stint with Toronto last season left a lasting impression. Yet, the Predators have little incentive to move him unless the offer is overwhelming. Should the Leafs pursue O'Reilly, it would almost certainly require a multi-asset package. A first-round pick and a promising young player like Nick Robertson might need to be part of the conversation. Additionally, Nashville would have to retain salary, a process that often involves a third-party team to facilitate. The logistics are challenging but not insurmountable. Internal options like Pontus Holmberg and Fraser Minten offer short-term relief but lack the experience needed for a deep playoff run. Holmberg has shown flashes of potential, but his limited NHL exposure raises questions about his readiness for a consistent role. Minten, while promising, is still developing and would be better served continuing his growth in the minors. A wild-card option could be exploring European leagues or waiver claims to unearth an overlooked talent. Teams like the Vegas Golden Knights and Colorado Avalanche have found gems in unconventional ways, and the Leafs scouting department may need to cast a wider net to uncover an affordable, immediate solution. Another factor complicating the Leafs' decisions is the looming salary cap crunch. With Matthews' extension set to kick in soon, Toronto must be mindful of every financial commitment. Adding a high-priced center now could limit flexibility during the off-season, forcing Treliving to juggle short-term needs against long-term sustainability. Trade timing will also play a pivotal role. Acting quickly could stabilize the team and prevent further slip-ups in the standings, but it may come at the cost of negotiating leverage. Alternatively, waiting closer to the deadline could yield better deals as selling teams grow more desperate. The risk, however, is enduring several more weeks of uncertainty. Sheldon Keefe's role in navigating this storm can't be overstated. His ability to extract maximum effort from an injury-riddled lineup will be crucial. Keefe has already experimented with unconventional line combinations, but the lack of true centers limits his tactical options. A new acquisition would provide the stability he needs to implement a more structured game plan. The Leafs locker room has remained resilient through adversity, with veterans like John Tavares and Morgan Rielly stepping up as vocal leaders. However, even their efforts may not be enough to overcome the absence of key personnel. Reinforcements are not just a luxury, they're a necessity. For fans, the anxiety is palpable. After years of playoff heartbreak, this season feels like another chapter in the saga of unmet expectations. Yet, there's cautious optimism. The team has shown glimpses of brilliance, and the addition of a solid center could be the missing piece that transforms them from contenders to genuine threats. As the trade rumors swirl, one thing is certain: the next few weeks will be critical in shaping the Leafs season. Whether it's Bjugstad, O'Reilly, or an unexpected name, the decision made by Brad Treliving and his staff could define not just this campaign, but the team's trajectory for years to come. For now, we wait, hopeful that the Leafs will seize the moment and finally deliver on their immense potential. Will the Leafs make their move? As the speculation intensifies, the Leafs fan base is holding its collective breath, waiting for signs of a breakthrough.